been counting you down to the annual Champions of Business Awards ceremony and cocktail reception hosted by the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. It's on November the 15th at Napa in Port of Spain, and this event is an important pillar in the business community and allows persons to be recognized for their contributions. To tell us more, we have the CEO of the Chamber, Mr. GABRIEL FARIA. He is here, and Mr. GALT, you know him very well, the General Manager of Enterprise Services at TSTT. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning. GABRIEL, maybe you can start to remind the public of the importance of these awards, particularly to the entrepreneurial sector.
Well, what I tend to tell people whenever we talk about this, because they say, oh, it's big business. And it's interesting because when you look at the people who are winning these awards, and when you look at the people that are nominated, and the one that always strikes me is Lal Paladi, a vendor outside the Tunapuna market, I think now has 12 stores. Is the largest retailer of cosmetics and the products that he distributes in the region. When you look at people like that, you recognize the importance of creating this ecosystem. You know, Ian is here with me today, and last year was the first year we did the Business Technology Awards. And when you hear again of these businesses, when we conceptualized this with B-Mobile last year, the concept was recognizing businesses that are constructively disrupting their environment and that are boundaryless. Why boundaryless? Because we can't sit on a rock and become global players. We have to look externally.
Correct.
And you know, B-Mobile is a fitting partner for this. EY is another partner that focus purely on the entrepreneurial landscape. And again, you look at the people who win these awards, and you know, Bertie's was one of the awardees last year. You see people eating their pepper sauce all over the world, right? So when you look at this year, we have a small company, but it's already looking at Japan to export their teas. Another company that's making sausages that become a niche brand, but getting a lot of momentum in the gourmet store. So there's so much opportunity. These people, these entrepreneurs, are the conglomerates of tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, Massey started with an engineer in a garage. Apple started with somebody in a garage. So let's revel in these people, in these entrepreneurs.
So, firstly, congratulations to you and your team for putting together these awards and making sure that our entrepreneurs, you know, feel appreciated for their efforts. But here's the thing I want you to answer for the public. What will it take for us to rapidly accelerate the growth of these entrepreneurs?
I'm glad you asked the question. We've been talking to the Minister of Finance every time he has a budget, and we have told them that there's so much opportunity to create a step change in this environment. The World Bank has actually funded a project some years ago to look at the concept of angel investing, and the Chamber has actually taken it as one of their initiatives, and we've been talking with different stakeholders to create an environment, an ecosystem that allows people to move through the chain from conceptualization to pre-commercialization to commercialization, providing mentorship. And we have told the Minister of Finance, instead of providing grants, mobilize the capital that's sitting in the banks, and we know how much money is sitting in the banks, by providing some sort of tax incentive so people are willing to take risk on some of these entrepreneurs.
You know, the Minister will tell you, look, we tried that before. We had in the incarnation of the SBDC, the Small Business Development Company, that evolved into what we know today as Export TT. We tried those loan guarantees before. We established NEDCO. And
but who's running? Where's that impetus driven from? It always is interesting to me that we conceptualize teachers and civil servants as creating an entrepreneurial environment. And somehow or another, it seems a little off-kilter.
I will let you know, a lot of teachers are very entrepreneurial in how they operate. Well, anyhow, Mr. GALT.
Good morning.
Morning to you. Tell us a bit about what you have observed, you know, over the past couple of years in terms of how entrepreneurs are using technology. You know, as Gabriel is talking about disrupting the disruptive force of technology, how that may be transforming local industry. Tell us what you have observed at the level of the entrepreneur who's utilizing technology.
So Hayden, I think Gabriel has touched on some of it, and I would say, first of all, you have two distinct sets of companies utilizing technology. So we're talking entrepreneurs here. And what I've noticed, I mean, I've been in the industry sort of from the days where it was what was termed very much a centralized industry. You know, you had minis and mainframes and that type of thing. So I think when I was here last time, I discussed the heavy investment needed. Yeah. Whereas with cloud computing today, you know, you can provision up voice, you can provision up clients, security, spam, literally pay as you go, pay as you grow. So you don't need a large cash injection. So that literally means that you know, someone like Steve Jobs and his friends sitting in a garage, you know, they would have needed to go and get venture capital. You know, now if someone has an idea, the enabler technology, using technology as the enabler to deliver it, they don't need large amounts of investment. So the reason that I say you have large companies and you also have small companies, if we look at the three finalists this year in the B-Mobile sponsored sector, we've actually got a complete mix. You know, you have, in no particular order, you've got term finance, very entrepreneurial idea, someone who is saying, you know, I'm taking this to the big boys, I see a niche, I'm going to play in it. Already regional, and if you look at what he and his team have achieved in a very, very short time without technology, and I would say also without cloud computing and the availability of cloud computing, I would say extremely difficult, if not bordering on impossible, to do what he has done. At the in the middle end of the scale, we've got Vibrant Technologies, and what they're doing is they're delivering technology services, but what they're doing is they're using the internet, they're using tools, they're using their skills, obviously, combination with that to offer services, and as a result, they offer their services not just regionally, but internationally as well, and have been successful with that. At the top end of the scale, we've got Caribbean Airlines, and you know, I've flown with BB and Caribbean Airlines for as long as I care to remember. I think, you know, give credit to them if you look at what they've done in the past couple of years. Very big business, very well established. I think Caribbean Airlines in some way, shape or form has probably been in business now for the better part of 75, 80 years. But they have utilized technology. You know, as an end user, I would say more in the past few years than the past few decades. So it's not just entrepreneurs. It's big businesses can now say, I'm fundamentally going to change my business using technology as the enabler, and I'm going to disrupt my industry doing it this way.
Fantastic work. And Mr. FARIA, just explain to the public the actual event itself, when it's taking place and so on.
So the actual event is held on the 15th of November at Napa. The cost is $9.95 plus VAT. It's a full all-inclusive event. There's the award ceremony and cocktails after. And you can actually call the chamber at 637-6966, extension 1308, ask for Allison, or you can send an email to events at chamber.org.tt.
Events at chamber.
When you look at the event this year, so Ian mentioned, Carl, this year our internationally known is Associated Brands. Again, you go most places in the world, you'll find them. They have factories in Malta and so on. And our two Hall of Fame awardees are Sunarain Kusal and Ozzie Hale from Han Darnell. So again, when you hear these stories, I think what is always amazing on that night is looking at young people being able to engage and talk to someone like Sunarain Kusal, or many of our old inductees will attend the events. Last year, it was the year before, we had Dr. Rupert Inder, and he attended last year. And he was, I mean, I think Rupert is over 80. But when you see him, he's out there, he's active, he's talking to the young entrepreneurs. So it's an excellent environment. We teamed this year, make connections. One powerful connection can start a journey. And this event really is the epitome of being able to make connections that can start you on a journey.
You know, what is so important about what you're doing as part of the Chamber and all of the supporting sponsors and so on, what is so important is that you are actually creating a new mindset. And if you were to describe the mindset of today's entrepreneur, today's local entrepreneur, what are some of the traits that you would say that they possess that take them along this journey? Because it's not an automatic thing that you just have an idea and you pursue the idea. It's really the desire. What have you observed about today's local entrepreneurs?
Interestingly, most of these people will be either in university or have decided to even drop out of university to pursue an entrepreneurial venture. People talk about training entrepreneurship. I'm not too sure if you can train someone to be an entrepreneur. I think it has to be a fire in the belly. It has to be a desire to do something. And when you talk to these people that are nominated, it's really a passion to disrupt or to create or to make a brand or to do something different. I mean, when you hear Wayne talk from WePay, you know, passionate, driven, wanting to do something, wanted to set the world on fire.
Yes.
And we need more of that. And I really want to recognize all our sponsors. You know, EY, they had the Entrepreneur of the Year award, and they're now helping to bring these small entrepreneurs to create the Entrepreneur of the Year award. I want to especially recognize Guardian Life. Guardian Life has made a decision. They want to focus on the Hall of Fame, people who have made a mark in Trinidad, wherever they sit, from Alal Paladi to Nazar Hammer, to Helen Bhagwan Singh, to Robert York. Those are the type of people we're talking about. Last year it was Derek Chin and Sidney Phillips. I want to also recognize, of course, First Citizens. First Citizens is probably the best example of internationally known, locally owned, right? Because it's truly a local bank, and they are building a brand that's amazing and strong, and that's why they've always recognized it. Unitrust Corporation. Nigel Edwards is very passionate about the entrepreneurial landscape. He's very focused on helping to build those. I think the figures he has for his people are 600,000 or 700,000 unit holders, and helping to create an entrepreneurial environment in there. Yes. So one other point I want to raise is many of our sponsors have actually told us for small businesses, members of the Chamber who are small businesses or entrepreneurs, they actually asked us to put aside a small number of tickets which we provide at a subsidized price. Okay. And again, when they call the Chamber, they provide the information, yes, and we'll see if they qualify.
Fantastic. Mr. GALT, will you be handing out any of these prizes on the said night?
Yes, I believe I will.
Fantastic.
Yes, I will.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Right. Great to have you, as always. I hope you come back and tell us how the ceremony evolved, and of course, tell us a bit more about what you're seeing in terms of that entrepreneurial landscape. What can we do as a nation, what can the government do to really facilitate greater growth of these entrepreneurs?
Yes.
Very important discussion to be had. But this will suffice for now. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to run to a quick break. When we come back, we have a lot more in store on this scintillating agenda.